All right, let's do it. Are you ready, Omari?
I am ready.
Excellent. All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. For those of you who have not been there yesterday, today we are continuing a conference that we started off yesterday on accessibility and disabilities. We had like a wonderful day yesterday, so I wanted to kind of first ask if there's anything we can do to make your experience today more accessible. So if there's anything that we can do right now that we can offer you in terms of audio, in terms of subtitles, let us know. Like this is a good moment to speak up. Just give you a moment to think about that. If there's anything that does not work for you right now in the current configuration, we'd love to hear to make it the best experience for everybody possible. And if there is something you want to share, just put it in the chat. That would be the best place to all of the panelists and hosts, they can have access to that information. Also, if anything comes up during the conference that you would like to, indicate, or that you can feel better supported experiencing this conference. See something pop up in the chat?
Yes, Laura says the subtitles yesterday were not fully accurate. This was an issue when she saved the transcript. Apologies for that, Laura. We, have gone back and forth about different software and different types of resources that we can use for subtitles. And we know that they're not all, accurate. I know there are a couple of companies and a couple of platforms that tend to have better accuracy than others. So noted, and we will look into other resources and possibilities for upcoming seminars and summits.
And we're also very open. If you have suggestions based on your personal experience, we would love to learn from that to kind of like do a better job in the future. All right, I'm going to get going now in the interest of time, but like feel free to still raise any concerns, any questions you might have in the chat. We will monitor that and either respond in text or like kind of reach out later on to kind of have more of a conversation to kind of improve your experience. All right, thank you so much. So, like, first of all, I want to thank all of the organizers of the event. These are wonderful people. They worked really hard behind the scenes to make all of this possible. To get like the lineup of speakers that you're going to see today, that you've seen yesterday, and to kind of make sure all the logistics work behind the scenes. You have no idea how much effort there has been for all of these people that are involved. So, thank you all so much for your effort and passion to making this work. And I wanted to just like kind of like give the people who have not seen yesterday's conference a quick overview, like a visual overview of the things that we have experienced yesterday. And I will narrate so that like also if you don't have access to see it, then you will still have a sense for what has been going on. So we started off with a fantastic keynote by Shiri Azenkot. Really well received, like a lot of interaction in the audience. It was really impressive presentation, followed up by a technical session where different faculty and students sort of had a chance to share more like sort of their research, their recent research. Here's Stephanie Valencia, and here's Sheng Zhang kind of giving presentations on the main stage yesterday. We had like a tech demo where we had like runway startups and companies that are like sort of like associated with Cornell and Cornell Tech who are working on assistive technology or in public health technology to kind of like either prevent disabilities or help people with disabilities to kind of like do better in society. So here's an example of an eye scanning technology that was sort of like developed so as to diagnose sort of before things actually get really bad in your eyes. You can actually already kind of like do a lot of like preemptive analysis and actually prevent blindness later on. So there's a really cool device that they built and an AI technology that they built behind the scenes to kind of like process all that information. We also had like our conspirators for the whole event, like YAI, who are like interested in like kind of giving a live demo of different actually kind of existing assistive technology. So like kind of let us try out like what actually is out there and then how that works. So this was a really fun interactive session where people went like bananas with all the types of different sort of technology that is out there to help you communicate with the people around you. So it was a really fun session, lots of like different demos, different tech. Great experience. Then we had like two panels. We had like one panel on policy, which was like hosted by Liz, which was like a wonderful experience where people both from sort of local community and sort of civic engagement, as well as an NGO, had like a great conversation about like sort of what we can do, how we can like sort of structure the narrative around disability and the technology, the policy that we develop in order to kind of facilitate the development of technology in this space. It was a really inspiring conversation, lots of energy, lots of great engagement with the audience as well. And then Omari, maybe you want to highlight sort of the panel that you were hosting yesterday.
Absolutely. So the panel that I facilitated was about disability identity, and we had a kind of like a social science, psychological approach to the discussion of disability identity. Individuals on the panel who were graduate students as well as staff members here at Cornell Tech talked about, the different kind of stages that they went through when they're talking about their different disabilities, how they're making meaning of their disability, how it intersects with other identities that they hold. And I just really want to, speak to the ways in which, throughout the day, I felt like there was this natural, fostering of inclusion and belonging, such that people were very transparent, very vulnerable in that space. So again, I want to thank the panelists for sharing their identity journeys with us yesterday. We're going to be talking about that again later on today from a kind of more research, literature, higher ed kind of perspective, and kind of blend that in with the personal narratives that we heard from yesterday.
Yeah, and you can see here in the picture on the right end of the picture, you see that there is also like a lot of like warmth and embracing and like sort of like opening up and being vulnerable. So it was like a lot of like very rich conversation and exchange at the conference as well. And then we had like our final session where more like sort of like PhD students were sharing their ongoing work and things that they have been researching in the space of accessibility. So here we have like Toby on the stage. And we have Vioma like having a great presentation about like sort of the role that you can play with NLP research to kind of like better support accessibility. So like this was a great experience. It was a really engaging conversation. We had a wonderful time. And so today we're going to continue all that. And so like, of course, the format being on Zoom is going to be a little bit different, but we are still going to be talking about the same topics, about research, identity, and kind of keep the engagement ongoing. And maybe it will not be with a hug as you saw yesterday, but it will be more like sort of in getting to know each other and like kind of creating a sense of community with each other around here. And we explicitly wanted to have like one remote day so that people who would not be able to in person attend in New York City, either for accessibility reasons or, any other sort of like constraints in life, we still have a chance to kind of engage in this conversation. And so we think that this is an important opportunity for all of us to kind of connect even more across distances. So I would like to kind of like do one round of virtual applause for our speakers, and I'm just going to show all the speakers again that we did yesterday as well. Some of these speakers will be speaking today, so we have like a chance to kind of see a percentage of these talks. I'm just going to go like, through the different speakers that we have. All right, so that's the whole lineup that we had for the entire conference. Just the main message of the conference is that this is not a passive conference, right? It's not a stage where you're just like sort of like listening to. Like we would like you to engage either in the chat, like have that conversation, ask the questions, be engaged with the speakers, but also afterwards. Like kind of the objective here is to create community and to kind of create an opportunity for you to all kind of connect with one another and reach out. So do engage, don't just sort of consume the conference. That is not the intention here. All right, that is all I have in terms of opening. Omari, is there more that you wanted to share?
No, I think you covered it, Thijs.
Excellent. All right, then all I'm left with is introducing our first speaker of today. So Aditya Vashista is like I saw him just entering the Zoom. Is going to be our opening keynote, if you will, of today's session. He's going to be talking about AI and safety for people with disabilities across cultures, and I think this is a really important topic and a very different sort of like approach to what we've been seeing yesterday as well. So I'm really excited to kind of see Aditya's perspective, and Aditya is like a colleague in Ithaca in information science. So Aditya.